Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well. For those who are new here, my name is Mishti and I love all things bookish, and this is the fifth time I'm trying to make this intro because the outside traffic will just not let me shoot. But I'm so excited to make a part 2 of this video because I did not expect the first part to blow up like it did, and by blow up I just mean it got like more than 5,000 views, and to me as a rookie booktuber it just made me so happy. So I thought, why not make a part 2 because I have plenty of recommendations to go around. So I'm back with part 2, and this time we're going a little bit deeper. So we have books from the Northeast, we have feminist stories in translation, biting social satire, coming of age heartbreak, and stuff that actually just makes you think long after you've shut the final page. And yeah, so it's gonna leave you thinking about it for days, whether you're new to Indian literature or just want something that's a little different and want a new recommendation. This video is perfect for you. So in this video I have 10 more Indian books that are actually really good, and if you haven't watched the part 1, you should go watch the part 1 after you're done watching this one. So yeah, without further blabbering, I'm just gonna go straight into the recommendations. Let's go. Okay, so the first book on my list is Western Lane by Chetna Maru, and Chetna Maru is a British Indian author, and I'm still gonna consider her in this video because she has Indian origin. And this book is really short, it's sharp, it's very devastating, but really quietly. So it basically follows 11-year-old Gopi. She is grieving the loss of her mother, but that grief gets funneled into her obsession with squash, yeah, the sport. That puts her into a really intense training routine, and squash literally becomes her entire world. But this isn't a typical sports story. It's about silence, it's about sisterhood, and the strange, sad ways that we grow up. The writing is so sparse, it's so precise. She doesn't overuse words, and it's not like a word salad, but it's so measured, and it just feels like how Gopi feels about her sport. It's not loud, it just leaves a mark, and if you want a book that says a lot without yelling and screaming at you, Western Lane is just that quiet knockout. Okay, so the second book I'm going to talk about is Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Shri, and it's translated by Daisy Rockwell. And I'm sure you've heard of this book plenty, but if you haven't read it yet, you should. Let this be your sign. And this book won the International Booker Prize not just because it's important, but it's also very bizarre, it's very brilliant, and it's just full of attitude. Basically starts with an 80-year-old woman falling into depression after her husband's death, and then it's just her story of completely reinventing herself, and she becomes defiant. She forms a surprising friendship with a Hijra woman and then decides she wants to go back to Pakistan. Yes, post-partition trauma after all. So her daughter, who thinks she's a progressive one, is absolutely shaken to her core, and she doesn't know what to do. The best part of this book is it's not written in your usual slow literary novel. It's very funny, it's playful, it breaks a lot of rules, it's defiant, it explores themes of trauma, gender, borders with just like a wild and poetic energy. And if you like your books really smart with a tad bit of unhinged, I think this one's for you. The next book is really special to us, and it's special because while I was interning at Penguin, this book won the International Booker Prize. So this is Heartland by Banu Mushtaq, and is translated by Deepa Bhashti, and this one just won the International Booker Prize, and it absolutely does deserve the attention. So it's basically a collection of 12 stories originally written in Kannada, and it spans over 3 decades. So each story zooms in on the lives of Muslim women and girls in southern India. So it's about their joys, it's about their pain, how they rebel, and just how quietly they hold on to the strength and how it helps them feel better. So you get feisty kids, you get grandmothers, you get husbands, and just like sharp tongued aunties, and it's all brought to life with just a wonderful wittiness and a lot of empathy. So you can just see Banu Mushtaq's background as a journalist and women's rights activist. It just shines through so well, and the stories are funny, they're political, they're raw, but it doesn't feel preachy, if you know what I mean. So they just see people in their true, raw, and like visceral form. So the language is razor sharp. It feels like someone is talking to you in a courtyard over chai, and the emotions are just gonna strike very deep. And as an Indian, I think you should just like read it because of its sheer magnificence. And if you're into short fiction that feels lived in, honest, and just like quietly radical, I think Heart Lamp is the book for you. The next book is called Goddess Complex by Sanjana Satyan, and this book is unhinged. And if you know me, you know I love myself a good unhinged book, and this is that just in the best way possible. So basically, Sanjana, the protagonist, she just left her husband at a hippie commune in India after a fight about having kids. So she is now crashing at a picture perfect sister's house. Her PhD is falling apart, her life is on fire, and her ex is missing. As she tries to track her ex down, strange things start happening. Random women start calling her for fertility advice. She is literally haunted by having visions of what if I have a baby. So the whole thing just like spirals out of control. It just is so surreal, and book is part psychological thriller and part satire of modern womanhood, and it's just so wonderfully written. It's very readable. It just cures mommy influencers, egg freezing culture, capitalism, and all of it. It does just while being extremely relatable. If you've ever questioned the idea of motherhood, identity, or just like your entire life's existence at 3 a.m., I think Goddess Complex is a must read, and it will just like make you think a lot more. Next up, I want to talk about Tales from the Dawnlit Mountains by Subi Taba. Okay, so this book is basically like stepping into a myth. So it's raw, it's atmospheric, and it's just completely unlike anything else you've ever read in Indian literature. At least that's what how I felt while I was reading it. So it's basically set in Arunachal Pradesh. It's a collection of stories that draw deeply from tribal lore, oral storytelling, and the lived experiences of those living in the Northeast, a region we almost never see represented with this kind of depth. So what I really loved about this book is it's not trying to explain itself to outsiders. It's just raw, and it gives you the truth as it is. It's not trying to sanitize it. It's not trying to make it look more palatable. It's just telling its stories. It's eerie, it's earthy, and it's deeply rooted. So if you're looking for Indian literature beyond the big cities and the usual themes, I think this would definitely be your pick. The next one to talk about is The Grip of Change by P. Shivakami, and this is such a powerful book. So I read this in my English degree, and this book is so groundbreaking, and it's still so groundbreaking. So it was the first Tamil novel written by a Dalit woman, and it's still one of the most sharpest, fearless critique of caste, gender, power in the Indian society. Basically follows a powerful Dalit leader, Kathamadhu, and he steps in when Tangam is brutally assaulted for having an upper caste lover, and he uses both politics and social clout to fight for a justice, but it's not presented as he is the savior, because so Shivakami also takes into account how women face double erasure, so because of their caste and because of their gender, because Dalit feminism also exists. So she's brutally honest about how patriarchy exists even within the Dalit movement, and that's exactly what makes this book so layered. It's not just about oppression, but also how to bring about that real change, and how you really need to understand yourself when you're trying to bring that real change. So the second part of the book, it gets even more meta. So it's basically a fictional author's note from Kathamadhu's daughter reflecting on the novel itself. So it really blurs the line between fiction and reality, and you just don't know how much of it is the author's own experiences and how much is fictional. This is for you if you want something that just like challenges you politically, emotionally, and structurally. It's just essential reading. So the next one I talk about is The Henna Artist by Alka Joshi. So it's basically set in the glittering, gossip-laced world of 1950s Jaipur. It follows a 17-year-old girl who escapes an abusive marriage and reinvents herself as a henna artist to the city's elite. So she's not just painting henna, but she's also hearing secrets, she's navigating scandals, and just building a life for herself where women aren't usually allowed to thrive. And she just becomes known for her artistry and for her advice, but beneath all of that confidence is a woman walking on a tightrope, and one wrong move could just have her entire life collapsing. And things really shift when her past catches up to her in the form of a husband who she thought she left behind, and a younger sister she never knew existed. And this is so dramatic in the best way. It's rich in detail, it's full of strong, powerful women, alliances, power plays, and quiet acts of rebellion. So, if you're a historical fiction lover, I think this could really strike a chord with you. Okay, so the next we're going to talk about is Unknown City by Amitaba Bagchi, and this is a really quiet, introspective novel about memory, masculinity, and the things we only start to understand much later in life when you're looking at it in hindsight. And we follow Arindam, he's a novelist and a professor now nearing the age of 50, as he reflects on the relationships and women who shaped his younger years. So there's Supriya, she just wanted someone to laugh with, not debate footnotes. Lisa, an activist. Razia, a writer herself. Arindam looks back and he sees how much he missed and how his own ego and blind spots just distorted every single connection. And unknown city aspect of the title just remains and is symbolic of his own human heart and how it remained closed off, and until finally maybe when he starts listening. And this one's a slow burn and it's very introspective. It's beautifully written, it's about emotional reckoning, and it's just ideal for anybody who loves character driven stories and stuff that really takes its time and gives you truth and honesty in the rawest way. So the last book I'm going to talk about is Clear Light of Day by Anita Desai, and this book has still stayed with me and I still revisit it all the time. So it's basically again a very quiet and a very heartbreaking novel. It's very devastating where not much happens in terms of plot, but it's just there's a lot of change that's going on. So it's basically set in post-partition Delhi. It explores the fragile threads of holding the Das family together, which every day it just becomes more difficult and distant. So when Tara, one of the main characters, she returns home, old hurts, spoken regrets and childhood memories just keep bubbling up and coming to the surface. And through a series of delicate conversations and silences, we witness the painful beauty of growing apart and then finally coming back together. So Anita Desai's writing is, as always, it's very subtle, but it's always very profound, and it lingers in your mind, which is exactly why it stayed with me for so long. And like I said, it's not a plot-heavy book, but it's more about emotional resonance. And if you like literary fiction and wanna explore Indian literary fiction, I think Anita Desai's Clear Light of Day is the one for you. So yeah, that's it for this video, and there you have 10 more Indian books that aren't just important or like educational, but they're so compelling. They have teeth, and they're just the kind of books that you underline and dog ear and maybe text your best friend about at 2 a.m. And honestly, Indian literature just has so much range, and it's quiet, it's emotional, it's gut punches, it's folklore, it's feminism, it's angry, it's full of rage, and it just has so much character, and it like does deserve more nuance than it usually gets. So yeah, let me know which one of these books you've read, which one of these books you'd like to read. If you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments. Let's talk about the book. If you liked, if you didn't like it, what worked out for you, what didn't. And yeah, so let me know in the comments, let's talk, and go watch part 1, and I'm sure you'll get some more great recommendations in that video. And let me know if there's a third video waiting to be made, because I'd be happy to make it. And also follow me on Instagram. I'm also active on Bookstagram if you don't know that already. Follow me on Bookstagram and subscribe, like if you want. And yeah, thank you for watching and happy reading, and bye.